Well, good afternoon, folks. We are back again to our village in Kisumu, Karateng. Today, I want to talk with you about the experience of racism in Africa through the lens of a special friend of mine here who is just joining me. It turns out he's actually my neighbor. He does exceptional YouTube videos. We've been planning to get together, and today, finally, he's made it to Karateng. And so I want him to introduce himself. Go check him out. He has really incredible travel videos. So Lennox, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much. Hello, good people. My name is Lennox Jr. That is my name on YouTube, and that is also my name, Lennox Jr. I'm a travel creator. I also do real estate and also do stories here in Africa, some entrepreneurial stories. So I'm here today for some nice inspirational story and also real estate story too.
Yes, guys. So check him out. I'm going to post his videos, or his link on the channel below. Check him out. Go ahead and support him. He has incredible videos. Please do so. So let's talk about racism. And most of it actually didn't come from his experience because he has traveled across many, many countries in Africa. And he's seen some of the best part of Africa and some of the worst of what Africa has to offer. And so in the next 10 minutes, we'll review that. And so join me and let's talk. So friends, well, if you missed the first part, we are in Kisumu, Karateng. I'm a Kenyan American who obviously is doing whatever is possible to come back and enjoy time in the village. It's actually a weekend. And again, our weather is something else. Let me turn around and show you what we are living with right here. Just take a look at what's behind me. It's the greenery, it's the breeze. The weather is just fantastic, folks. So if you're one of those people who is interested in things returning to Africa, you are interested in building in the village, you are diasporan, and you are excited about the possibility of leading a dignified life in Africa, my number is posted below. I help people with construction, finding land, and things of that sort. I've spent quite a few months in the village, and my hope is I'll be staying here for as long as possible. But of course, at some point, I'm going to have to return to Long Beach. And so as I meet new people, I meet both folks who have returned, folks who have never left Africa, like the gentleman who just left my house. We spent the entire morning here with him, an incredible young man. And he's been telling me stories about his experience crossing African borders as a black man. And a lot of what he's telling me is not necessarily new. I've talked to several people, those of us who live in Africa and those who don't, about the experience of racism in Africa. And if you're new to this, you'd be shocked. But Kenyans who have gone through this know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's talk about it. Hopefully, as we speak more about this matter, it'll cause these people to change. Now, I'm not talking about racism in its technical definition because some people say that black people cannot be racist. They can be bigoted, absolutely bigoted, but not necessarily racist because of the power element to it. And that's more of the technical definition. So we leave that for another day. Today I'm talking about the experience of treating a black person poorly because of their skin color. And a caveat before I say what I'm going to say, that for the most part, especially when you meet the average person, you are fine. If you're a black person, you're in the village, you will almost never experience racism. That's actually what it is for most of us. The challenge becomes when you run into particular places, especially border regions, tourist regions, or places where they think you don't have money, then you will see how your skin color could actually define your experience. So keep in mind, in the majority of cases, as a black man in Africa, you are fine. Because most of us almost never interact with people who are of a different race. Like here in the village, everybody looks like me. Maybe you might find a few people here and there that are mixed here, there, people are married to white folks, but it's different. So your experience of racism will likely be based on where you are. So if you live in a tourist place, or if you go to a tourist place like in Mombasa or along the coast where you have a lot of tourist hotels, then yes, you'll have a different experience. Or if you live in these places that have ranches that are owned by people who came from Britain, you may experience racism. Now, in the village, when you go to the cities, especially when you run into shops that are run by people who are not African, and I'm talking about Kenyans of Indian descent, of Kenyans of Arab descent, of Kenyans who are not black, yes, you likely will experience racism. And for some reason, People who live in the villages simply deal with it in a way that they just accept it as normal. But for those of us who have lived outside Kenya, have experienced a different version of racism, when we come home, those things are very jarring. My friend here told me that a lot of the times when he's standing in a line with white people, you'll see a black person coming to the line, removing all the white people and putting them to go ahead of everybody else, for no other reason other than these individuals being white. So people in authority in Africa, or people who are put in places like border regions, or police officers and things like that, or hotels, are more likely to give white people preferential treatment. And this is the part of racism that I think, to me, stings the most. I can deal with racism from somebody else, but when it's a black person treating me poorly because of my race, that is the one that I struggle with the most. So yes, there are certain places in Africa where you may be treated poorly in the presence of other white folks. And my assumption is that this problem really stems from the colonial experience. Because again, remember, colonialism runs deep in Africa. Yes, many countries got independence a long time ago, but the damage that Europe did to Africa still lasts. So you'll see them treating white people better, or they come through a line and you see even the reception that a white person gets in. You walk in and you could be standing there for like maybe 5 minutes, nobody notices you. But a white person comes behind you and immediately everybody stands and they're running around. Some of it, I think, is economics, because they assume that when you see a white person, they probably have money. And what some of the local folks don't realize is that a lot of the white people that show up here don't even have money. I've seen young folks who have been supported through their churches, through donations, to come do missionary work. And then when our brothers here meet them, people think that these white folks from America or from whatever have money, when a lot of them actually don't even have money. So that expectation that white equals money is something that I know influences people's behavior. And I've seen that too with diaspora. Locals who can tell the difference between black diaspora and black local often treat us very differently. Like, there are places I walk in, and if they can tell I'm from diaspora, they will treat me often better. Sometimes because of tips. Many of us give tips. Remember, the average Kenyan is not used to the culture of tips. And so when they know they're going to get tips, they'll give you preferential treatment. The second tough bit about racism in Africa, besides preferential treatment for white people, is that at the border section, fellow Africans are going to terrorize other black people crossing borders, especially those who are crossing by road. I've barely driven across African borders, but from my friends' experience and from other people's experience, it looks like crossing African borders can be a nightmare. And this may have maybe less to do with racism, but more about dealing with extremely corrupt folks, where you walk in and if you are not willing to pay money, they will not even let you exit their country. My friend here who just left told me there's a time he had an experience crossing one of the borders I've yet to mention in East Africa, and he was just trying to leave. And at that point, they started asking for stuff that don't even exist. Like, I think at that point they were asking for like malaria vaccine, things that don't even exist. And they're asking you to bring things they know you don't have so that they can force you to pay bribes. So our corrupt officials, race aside, make traveling in Africa very difficult. And so if you're watching this video and you're a person in authority, please let's make it easy for Africans to travel across African borders. It's far much easier for people to travel in Europe than it is to travel within Africa. And when you look at the cost, let me give you an example. I bought a ticket to Washington, D.C. a couple months ago. I was flying from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. I paid about $230. And that is a 3,000 mile distance for $200. And then I looked up a flight from Nairobi to Addis Ababa, which is in Ethiopia. And I think it was listed for almost $800. And the distance between Nairobi to Addis Ababa is just about 1,000 miles. So traveling within Africa is very expensive. Some reasons are self-inflicted, but I think other reasons are beyond our control. But yes, the experience of racism is terrible. Like I said earlier, the more common one that you'll see besides white people getting preferential treatment are typically from Indian Africans or Arab Africans who hire black people, and when you see the way they treat people with my skin color, it is despicable. So for those of us, when we come to Africa, if somebody makes the mistake of being racist in front of me in Africa, they're gonna have it. Typically, for our cousins who live at home, they'll just see that they know it's wrong, but they'll just be quiet. For those of us who live abroad, let me catch you being racist in Africa. You'll have it, and they're usually shocked when they are confronted. The challenge with that is that, especially the white folks that have lived here, some of them, they are so used to that when they walk in, they expect everybody to just lay low and let them walk all over you. For us, if I run into that, oh yeah, they'll have it. So again, Africa is wonderful. For the most part, the average person is fine with you. You'll be okay. But you may experience pockets of racism here and there, sometimes unfortunately coming from black people. Bigoted acts happen. Worst case scenario, and especially in the southern part of Africa, where you see black people who specifically target other Africans. It's really terrible, folks. So well, folks, I hope you learned something, but let's do better, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.